Good morning, everyone. This is Greg Aiden with another episode of Servant Leadership Podcast. And today I have the special pleasure of bringing to you from Los Angeles, California, Iris Klein. Good morning. How are you, Iris?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for asking. Yourself?
Yes, wonderful. One cup of coffee in and a couple breakfast nuggets, and I'm ready to go.
Perfect. That's all you
Uh,
need.
it's funny. The last week or the first weekend in May, I was up in Vail delivering a keynote to a bunch of affordable housing individuals, and this wonderful, beautiful young woman walked up to me and she said, "I really enjoyed what you said to us this morning, Greg, and um, but that's not why I'm coming up to you. I believe you need to meet my friend Iris Klein.
Hmm.
She is a wonderful human being. She does a lot of work with people to get find out where they're coming from and connect great people to great people. And you could just see in her eyes that she really was very fond of you. And now, as you know, Iris, the three of us had a call a couple weeks ago, and it just came to me. I would love to have Iris on my show. Unique from the leader focused individuals that I typically have on the show, but the not so different. You're focused on human behavior, collaborative uh, relationships. And so before I jump into the what you do and how you do it, Iris, tell us your story.
My story. Well, I currently I teach acting. I coach actors. I work with up and comers to celebrities who've been on series for 15 years, etc. And I grew up in this field because my mother was a teacher, and then she studied with Sanford Meisner. Then I studied with Meisner. So I grew up in this, and
Mm,
ultimately, what I love about it is the connection, is the intimacy, what I do is I teach a workshop, a moment to moment class, human connection, where you learn to look into the other's eyes and to really see them and to hear them, and so you have a back and forth of a moment to moment. You can call it action reaction, but two people are engaged with each other and really experiencing the other. And what I recognize is that when someone is seen and heard, it can be very touching because it brings up all the times that we're not seen and we're
mm.
not heard, and that brings up a sadness, and then the joy of being seen and
Yeah.
heard brings up a joy, which brings up, so it's a very fulfilling experience, one on one, really being present,
Yeah.
because we've lost touch with the present tense, you
A
know.
lot of us get enamored with the actors and actresses that we see on the big screen, the little screen. A lot of us are, diving into Netflix series, etc. Do you have any favorite actors or actresses that you've worked with, Iris? That I know it's work. That's how you make a living, perhaps, as well as what you just mentioned. But are there any individuals that you've just really thoroughly enjoyed coaching?
Well, truthfully, I only work with people that I enjoy. If someone is challenging, then they're not really open to receive. So
Beautiful.
they come to me because they want to hear what I have to say. And
Nice.
um, I've worked with people like Josh Brolin. I work with Bridget Moynihan from Blue Bloods for about 20 years. I work with the Buffy people, a lot of shows in Los Angeles,
Mm,
and New York. They'll call, and I can work anywhere now because we're on Zoom. So someone
sure.
can come in from across the ocean, and we're working together. But I tell you, all the actors. I always tell this to my actors: the hardest working actors that I know are the ones that are working. In other words, it's hard work. It's a job.
Sure.
And it's wonderful and it's glamorous and it's all that. But truthfully, the amount of work you put into it is what you'll get out of it. You can't just slide by.
No. Well,
No.
it's funny. I'm listening for similarities, not to my work and your work, but what makes me happy is working with people who actually want to do the work. And it
Yes.
sounds like that is a small similarity. And it's
Mm,
funny, I always ask my clients, are you willing to do the work?
mm,
Because I can't tell you what to do. I can reflect back. I can help you communicate in a different way. But what is it you really want to achieve? And most people say, I want to be a better leader. Okay, that's a destination. Now, how are we going to get there? And I bet a dime to a donut that there's a few things I'm going to learn from you in the next 20 minutes that I can actually share with my clients about
mhm.
connecting with other people. And
Nice.
as leaders and as moms and dads, would you agree that if we tried just a little harder to see and hear and believe in the person in front of us, our relationships would get better?
No doubt. No
Hmm.
doubt. I love the idea that you bring up children too, because really children need to be heard. And I think as parents, we get so stressed by the day to day that we don't necessarily pay enough attention to them in the moment of, what they need, what they want, or just even just the attention. So, and then of course there's, the devices now. So that I think really makes us very myopic in a sense. So, yes, this is ultimately so important
Isn't
to,
it funny when you mention the word device, I had this reaction as to, gosh, why did we create these? And and when you look down, you no longer have a chance to see the person in front of you. And
correct.
when you look down, you can't possibly see the car in front of you. And going back to parenting for a minute, and those that listen to my show on a regular basis, they know that leadership and parenting are connected at the hip. There's no way you can convince me otherwise.
Hmm.
We chose to have this person in our life. We either created them or adopted them, or somehow we acquired this beautiful human being. And most of them are created ourselves. And then we choose to love them and see them and hear them and value them. But then again, we do that after we get our stuff done. And it's just interesting because you said something around how parents are crazy. They have lots going on. And what's more important than being a parent?
Right.
I know you need a job and to raise a family, et cetera, put a roof over your head. But at the end of the day, who's really going to remember how you showed up for them?
Exactly. At
It's
the end
not
of,
your clients, it's your
right.
kids.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, I that's just my soapbox, and I don't think I'll ever get off of it because I want parents to understand what they could do if they really wanted to improve being a parent. It's the most wonderful job I've ever had, and I don't even call it a job. It's my hobby.
That's beautiful. Yes. Love
So
that.
actingclassnow.com, Iris, is where we can find you relative to your website. If someone was looking for what you offer, how would they find you through a search? What kind of words, what kind of destination would they be searching for?
Connection,
Okay.
moment to moment, human connection, um, uh, put my name in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll come up with things. So, yes, so as well as teaching the acting, this exercise that I do initially, which is the foundation of everything, is the connection.
Yeah.
Because if there's not the connection, there's nothing.
Well,
We we don't care about the people, we don't care about the relationship. So it's got to start with connection without a script. It
yeah.
starts with a connection. Am I really with you? Are we present? Are we listening? Are we available? Are we allowing the other person to be with us? I sometimes say allow your talent to be at the effect of your partner.
Yeah. It's funny. Just yesterday, I believe I was in front of 35 to 40 people, different segments of my day. Some of it was one on one, some of it was team coaching. And it's interesting that when you say the word connection, I was focusing on a communication webinar, two of them. It's called Courageous Conversations. it's not just how to communicate better and listen better, but what's the purpose of why we want to communicate more clearly and be present and listen with our eyes as well. And it is all about relationships. And
Mhm.
you're going even deeper and saying, okay, you want a relationship with someone. Well, do you have a connection with this human being? So how do we really get committed, Iris, to having a connection versus just a relationship with a human being? How do you teach that? And what would you like the people listening to hear, so they could actually get better at connecting with the people they say they love, trust, and admire? And then ultimately, maybe someone says, "Hey, I'd like to get connected with Iris and attend one of her classes."
Well, in this exercise we do, um, we actually look at each other, we sit across from each other, we hold our hands together, so we make that immediate connect. And then I really see what I'm getting from you.
Hmm.
It's not what I want. I'm not pulling something out of thin air. It's not where my head's at. It's what am I receiving from you? It can start with something very simple. You're nodding, and then we'll repeat it back and forth, and then we're in the moment with each other slowly, and then it deepens, and then you see something else, and then it deepens, and you see something else. So, I mean, by the end of it, you can be in laughter, you can be in tears, but it's coming as a result of the connection. I'm not making myself laugh. I'm not making myself cry. That's coming what you make happen in me, and
Mm.
vice versa. So we're really with each other, which is not easy. But once you get it, then it's like, wow, how else can you live?
Yeah.
Wow, what other way is there to live than to just be with each other, really?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and you bring up so many things, and I've worked on in the past, whether I was going to be a coach or not. And for those that you don't know, when I left the big job with IHG, Intercontinental Hotels Group, I basically said, I'm done. I don't need the big job. I don't need the awards and the money, blah blah blah. I
Mm,
want to focus on what's really going to make a difference in the world, and that's when I decided to create Aid and Leadership. And
beautiful.
servant leadership to me,
Yeah,
and I say this with all the confidence in the world, is the most powerful way to lead, because you're serving first and leading second.
I
But
love.
I had to get rid of my own stuff. I had to find out where my roots were not serving me, and frankly, give all the credit in the world to the Hoffman Group up in San Rafael, California. They
Right.
help you understand that your creators are where you receive who you are, and that's
Right.
mom and dad. And it's not mommy and daddy issues, it's understanding what great parts of your mom and dad that you want to keep, and what are those you want to forgive them for and certainly not carry on.
Mm,
Jealousy and insecurity and selfishness, etc. And I just described half of my mom and half of my dad, but
mhm.
the other half, love them to death. Clearly, they did a decent job. When we become adults, we get to be whoever we want to be. And we can't blame the people who created us anymore. And
Right.
because they're not responsible for our relationships.
Right.
So, why do you think more people don't take the time, Iris, to truly collaborate with other people, truly connect, slow down, and really get to know who they are and who they want to be with other people? Why don't you think more people don't take the time?
I think there's a number of reasons. I think that we grow up. We're in first grade and we're studying for second grade. And then we're in third grade and we're looking to fifth grade. And we're taught really not to be present, but
Mm,
to be working for the future, for that college education. So since we're very young, we're trained for the future and we're not really trained for the present moment. And when I say
interesting.
train, I
Yeah.
don't I just mean we don't really learn how to be present with each other, and it starts at that very young age. So I think we need to shift something in that arena because it's always about the future.
Yeah.
So it's very hard. Children, when I work with kids, they'll get it fast. They'll be able to sit there, and once they understand, they can go. The older and then even older, much harder. Want to bring in story, want to talk about the weather, hard to just make this link right here, make this connection. You said something I just want to pick up on too, about, we discover ourselves through the other as well.
Yeah.
No man is an island. That
Yeah.
cliche is true. We discover ourselves through the other. I'm not losing myself in you. Okay. I am maintaining myself, but I am with you 100%. And through you, I'm going to discover about myself and vice versa, because I'm going to see and experience things in yourself, in you, that you may not even be aware of. And you go, wow, I didn't know that about myself.
Hmm.
You know, and so like we're just peeling away the onion and get to the heart.
Yeah.
A lot of times we're, leading from our ego, from our head, from our mind, from thought, and we're so way disconnected from the heart, which is ultimately where I think, that's where the love is, in the heart. So
Absolutely.
learning to be present and with each other, and is not in the head. It's not about story. It's not about the story. And we get stuck in the story. If you tell me who you are, then I'll know how to feel about you. But I know nothing about you, and I'm going to sit with you, and I'm going to be with you in this way, and I will discover everything I need to know. Beyond the story is now.
Yeah. Wow. You're so many things that you're saying are preparing me to be even a better coach, to be a better husband, to be a better father.
I love that.
And I've always said the best parts of us come from our heart. And when I
Mhm.
start a class, I share with my leadership groups, leadership starts with you, but it's not about you. But
Right.
you have to understand how you want to lead people and how you get to lead people. And you said allow a couple times, and it's interesting. I was having a conversation with my wife about what leaders allow, because
Mm.
they can blame everybody in their organization, but at the end of the day, what behavior, what communication, what examples are you allowing to happen in your team, in your organization? And I
Right.
believe now the other way to look at allow, you just brought me to thinking about this, is do we allow others to see into us? Intimacy, into me you see.
Right.
And I don't believe, and this is, I'll say this until I'm in the grave. I don't believe most people want to be seen. I don't believe most people even understand what true intimacy is. They may get to vulnerability, but I don't think they truly take the next step and just like you say, allow someone to look into their eye and feel their heart and understand where this person's coming from. And again, I hear you when you say we all want to be on the surface. We all want to tell a story because we want the other person to see us, but not truly us. They want to see what we've accomplished and what we've done.
I remember when my neighbor called and my daughter answered the phone, and she was like 5, and she goes, "Hello," and she goes, "Hi, it's Donna. What are you doing?" "Mm, I'm sitting." "What do you want to be when you grow up?" "Happy."
Mm,
But that I just love the presentness of
yeah,
sitting, just the simpleness of that is so beautiful. It's being present, but I think also the intimacy is in time. Is Are we in time with each other? Because we're racing to the future. We're regretting the past. So, there's that the regret of the past, the anxiety of the future, and not enough time right here in the now. And that's what is so important. And there's a lot of discovery in that. I think we've really shut down our senses. How many times you smell the flowers? taste, smell, touch, all of it. I think we've really we've shut down a lot of what we are just born with, and it's reconnecting with that. A friend of mine said we're born knowing everything, and we spend the rest of our lives forgetting it.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I love that saying. And you said something about regretting the past, and I'd love your insight on how do we get people, me included, how do we get people to let go of the past? Because we cannot change the past unless I'm missing something. I can't go back. I can say I'm sorry. I
Mhm.
didn't mean to hurt your feelings and hope that you will forgive me, but you don't need to. My point is, how do we get rid of the past and some of the regret and a lot of angry, stuffy people are just carrying around with them today?
I don't necessarily know how to get rid of the past. I think it's sort of where the sum we're the total of all of our parts, so that, the past, the regrets, the things, "Oh, I would have done it differently," or "I can't believe," and I don't know how to get rid of that, but I think there's a way to incorporate it in your life to make it more of what I've learned from this, or
Hmm.
what's the opportunity that comes out of this? What's the lesson? What am I meant to glean from this rather than just beating myself up? Because I don't think that's the point. So I think just to review it, revision it in a way where you can walk away with something that maybe, oh, I won't repeat that way. I'll do that differently because now I understand what I meant to learn from that. So, but
Love that word. Revision it. I'm going to look at it differently and understand what did I learn from being mean or not being happy, and what can I do today to
Mm,
start being a better version of myself.
yes,
Um, I want to go back to the word allow. How do you recommend we make the time? Because I always hear from people, I'm busy. I don't have the time. And I say, you have the time. You just need to make time for what's really important to you. So let's
correct.
pretend that there's a small percentage of people listening to this and say, wow, this is really interesting. And other than a simple trick I ask them to do is write down what's important to you. That's step one. But you need to put it in your calendar. You need to actually make time
Oh, it's
to
beautiful.
be present.
That's
And I know it sounds corny, Iris, but unless you and I wouldn't have agreed to be on the podcast, step one, we need to define the time that's unique and comfortable for both of us. But we had to put it in our calendar, or we would just continue to go through the day and not have this time. So, how do we make time for ourselves to become present with ourselves? And then, how would you invite someone to help you be present? How does that happen?
uh, a walk, nature.
Hmm.
And I think nature is an incredible teacher and an inspiration. So I love to go for a walk and go with a friend or my daughter or but a walk, just to be in the moment and present with take your shoes off,
Yeah.
ground, take your socks off, feel the earth. It's
Yeah.
it's that kind of simple, but we're so far from it. Hug a tree, you know, feel a leaf, smell the roses. Take
Yeah.
that time to really dig in with your senses. I also like to do a kind of grounding, centering meditation in the work where you basically you can just even be standing there or sitting in a chair and close your eyes and plant roots come out the bottom of your feet, spread those roots, send them down deeply into the earth, spread them wide, connect those roots to everything, to the trees, to the people, everything, and connect in that way and walk the earth connected like that.
So many great things. I'm envisioning now what I can do differently. And again,
Mm.
I've let go of a lot of my regrets, and when I want to let go of something or even a bad conversation, and I recommend this to others, is I write it on a piece of athletic tape. I put it on the bottom of my shoe, or I put on my mountain bike tire, and I just slowly it just erodes as I'm walking. That's how I let go of stuff I'm not proud of.
I like that.
And I'm not perfect, and, I don't strive to be perfect. I just try and be as helpful to others as I possibly can. I try and bring a smile to my wife's face as often as I can. I try and make my son laugh and, watch him play, and, those are the things that I'm really gonna be remembered for.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. I know.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you've said so many wonderful things, to be present, to get to the place that you wanna be through your heart, not your head. uh, Strive for more and deeper human connection. Allow the other person to see who you are. Steve
Well,
McGee.
I would just reword that. Allow allow yourself to be at the effect of the other person.
Mm,
In other words, my focus isn't on myself. My focus is on you. And in my focus being on you, your focus on me, we will see each other.
wonderful.
Otherwise, my focus would be, oh, I want you to see me is about me. But if I see you, now I'm about you.
Yeah, beautiful.
You're
And
so
it,
beautiful. You're so, oh my gosh, I think you're such a beautiful human. So
well,
kind, and you lead with your heart, and there's a fearlessness in your vulnerability. I feel that. You're very
thank you. Well, thank you. Yes, that's all I can say. Is thank you. I know that being real is the way to be, and I can't tell people to do it. I just have to example it.
yes.
And one little guy that's I'm actually picking him up from camp in up in Maine tomorrow, flying to Boston here in a minute.
Oh,
And we're going to spend a couple days together at coming home, of course, and then up to our little cabin in the mountains. And I just can't wait to hear what he's been doing for the last 3 weeks.
beautiful. Oh,
And he's one of those people you don't have to ask many questions. You're going to get the information anyway. But
love that.
we have a special closeness. He lives with his mom half time, and Brooks and I are he's a mini me, which is good news and bad news. But I honestly believe he's learning some of the things we've talked about today, Iris, just through my behaviors.
Yes. Well, as I say, I learned this from I started doing the work when I was about 9, and then at 12 it was like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Hmm.
I was told by, I don't know if you've heard of Daniel Millman. He did The Spiritual Warrior. He talks a
Yeah.
lot about purpose. He told me my purpose was to put people in touch with their feelings. So I feel like very good that I got that information because I think we search for purpose a lot, and I don't know why I went there, but anyway,
No.
Chad, I don't
Beautiful.
know why I went there.
You can go wherever you want, and that's what I love about what I do. It doesn't matter what I want to ask. I just it's fun just to hear people like you. You have a beautiful smile. You have a beautiful way about you, but you just I can't imagine anyone being in your aura in front of you, not really wanting to share more deeply,
Mhm.
and it just you can't make that up.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's authentic.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because a lot of people say, "Well, how did you get into leadership stuff?" But the
Mhm.
people that really know me, they just knew this would be happening. I've always led. I've always stepped to the front of the room and looked back and say, what should we do?" Now, there's sometimes I've stepped in front of the room and the teacher asked me to sit down. That's not what I'm talking about. But I've always gotten people together. I said, "What do you think if we could? What if we did this? Or why don't we do this differently?" And
Wonderful.
I've been asked to leave groups and boards because I'm too much interested in having someone follow me, and that's okay. I'm not for everyone, and I don't think you are for everyone, and I don't think everyone's anyone.
Exactly. There've been people who come to class one time and they'll go, "This is amazing," or "I wouldn't do that for $1,000,000," or because it's it's different in that
Yeah.
we're really intimate with each other, without a physical intimacy, I mean a
Yeah.
real connection,
Yeah.
heart
Amen.
connection. Yes.
Well, again, Iris Klein, thank you. Just thoroughly enjoyed being in front of you.
Oh,
I'm sending you a huge virtual hug from Inglewood, Colorado,
y-
and I just appreciate who you are. And I will. I'm going to stay connected. I do want to see if I can't get involved in what it is you do
sure.
when you have another opportunity. Again, shout out to Aaron DeGraff for putting us together.
Okay.
Uh, Ironically, the connection with her was now a connection with me, and hopefully, there's going to be hundreds of people that are connecting to what they can do to stay more connected, not only to them their self intimately and but to others. But I'm going to leave you with, you've heard me say it so many times on this show, please be present, not because it's important to anybody else other than yourself. Connect with other human beings and allow yourself to see other people,
Mhm,
and just give them a moment
mhm,
and make it about them. And again, I mentioned Shuva on my show once before, but it's to be seen, to be heard, to be understood, to be valued, and to be appreciated. And you've reinforced that as well. We don't often want to be seen. We don't often want to be heard truly, but when we are, I remind the listeners, how do you feel when you are?
mhm,
Well, what do you think the people in front of you want to feel?
mhm.
So be Shuva and give Shuva and help them. But
Yeah.
and again, shout out to Patty Beach who introduced me to that great acronym. But Iris, any last words you'd like to say before we say goodbye?
Just that it's been a joy speaking with you and being with you, and I can feel your presence, and I'd love to sit in on one of your lectures sometime as well.
Beautiful. Love to have you. Thank
Thank
you, Iris Klein.
thank you, you're welcome.
Thank you, listeners. I hope you've taken something away that will help you be whoever you want to be. And that's a decision we make every single day. And all I'm asking you to do is maybe do something a little different, connect with another human being in a way that you haven't, and go out and serve someone. God bless. Be kind, be gentle, and be curious. Have a great day. God bless.